Hey guys, I'm back. It's another video. I'm hoping you'll come back and watch me again. Sorry for the break. So before I get into my video, I just want to quickly explain why I've been gone. So basically life just got hectic with uni and all that jazz. I went home for a period where I was just busy and I was getting really bad migraines, so I was just getting over that and all that jazz. Went to the opticians, got some new glasses. Guys, I can finally see. And also the biggest change with me coming back to Cardiff, I had to move flats. You can't tell, I've made it almost exactly the same, but yeah, I had to move flats because my building flooded, and now I am directly above, like next to a train line, so there might be more disruptions from trains than there was previously. Also, it seems everyone and their mum is out because it's Black Friday today, and the Welsh enjoy using their car horns, okay? It's a whole thing. I apologise in advance if there's trains or police sirens or car horns or just building work because the universe hates me. Okay, so I don't know if you've guessed, you might not have, but today's video is going to be Marvel's The Avengers. We're back on the Marvel grind, guys. So the opening of the film, like with the Tesseract and when they're in the shield building, just really makes me really happy. I don't know why, like it just makes me really excited for what I'm about to watch. And also, the score of this film, it owns me. I mean, it just gets to me. Alan Silvestri, he has my whole heart. He makes some phenomenal film scores. Also with this film, brings about my feelings of justice for Clint Barton. Not only the fact that he gets like magically brainwashed, but also because his character is done so dirty. Like the MCU, he could have been so much more, and you know, I stand by comic book Clint, film Clint. He needs some justice. I mean, they could have done so much better. So we know I love a good fight scene, we know I love a good explosion, and the Avengers kicks it off with a bang. I mean, literally in the first, what, 10 minutes, there's a fight and a car chase, and then the building explodes and like collapses, and it's just so stressful, but also very satisfying. What a way to start the story. I mean, that's how you set the bar, you know? I need to be honest, okay? I've never really appreciated Natasha until now. She's such a badass in this film. Like, the intro to her, fully where it's at. Oh my gosh, yes queen, kick some ass. Her character deserved more in the whole MCU. Her and Clint, just done dirty in my opinion. Hopefully they can redeem that with the Black Widow film, but that will be for another video. I think there's quite a lot with this film that definitely went over my head the first time I watched it when I was, what, 12? But now I can properly, like, appreciate it, and it is so much better. With this film, there's little bits that I quite appreciate. So I love the 10 bucks says you're wrong detail between Steve and Fury. You know when Steve's like, nothing can surprise me, and Fury's like, 10 bucks says you're wrong. That bit. And then it's such an easy detail to miss, but the fact that when Steve goes onto the Quinjet, he does whip out 10 bucks and gives it to Fury because he's had his mind blown by the Quinjet. Like, that's just so iconic, but if you're not looking for it, you don't see it. I just love it. It's a great detail. I like how with this film, it could have very easily gone into a like, oh, just come on, get on with it, like sort of vibe, because the characters do need to get introduced, like not only to the audience, not really to the audience because we've met most of them, but they do still need to get introduced to the audience, but they also need to get introduced to each other and like how all of that works. But actually with this film, they have managed to pace it in such a way that it moves on along enough throughout that you're not like, it doesn't feel stagnant, and you're not just like, oh my god, we get it, like they've never met before and they're about to team up. Like, get on with the nitty gritty. Like, it's well paced and organised and set up. What I'm saying is they very easily could have lost a lot of people's interest with the trying to introduce everyone, and they don't, so gold star for you. I really like the scene in Germany. Like, I know it's Loki doing his bad guy thing, but it's such a well done moment. Like, the simplicity of him just being on his own and like walking down those steps in that German gallery, and like as he gets the guy's eye, and then him going into the, like, going out and getting the crowd to kneel. It's really, the whole sequence is really like slick, and you know. I also really love the old guy in the crowd who's like, I won't kneel, like, he's like, not for men like you, when Loki's like, kneel, and all of this. And just the seamlessness of Cap saving the day. I mean, I really do. I love the sequencing, I love the shots, I love the like camera, like, it's just all of it. I'm a fan. And the dialogue, last time I was in Germany, it was yes, Cap, you compare Loki to Hitler. Along within that scene, my favourite line forever is when Tony hacks into the system of the jet that Natasha is flying even, to play his tunes. And he's like, Agent Romanoff, did you miss me? I mean, that snippet of audio lives in my head rent free. I love the way they introduce Thor into the dynamic. So when it's like, what, scared of a little bit of lightning, and Loki's like, I'm not overly fond of what follows. And then the iconic, it is iconic, brawl between Tony and Thor. Like, yes, get beefy with each other. Like, have that fight, we love to see it. And then obviously Cap getting in and settling all of the things. I mean, I mostly just love the fight, but the scene is really like well done. I like the dialogue between everything going on, like between Thor and Loki, and then Tony and Thor, doth mother know you weareth her drapes. Wow. I watched a like film analysis video about this scene once, and I have to say it's very clever. I just won't go into it right now. I just need to tell you it's actually film critic analysis wise, it's a very clever scene. I really like the dynamic between Bruce Banner and Tony Stark. Not only intellectually, but also the way that they like build a connection with each other, and also the way that Tony tries to put a really the way that Tony tries to put a positive spin on the Hulk for Banner, but Banner's just sort of like, no. Like, I enjoy the dynamic of Tony trying to be like, there's some positive in the negative, you know? I really get a kick out of the fact that Tony and Steve really don't get on for like 90% of the film, but it's more in a way that it's really well done because it's like their morals sort of contradict. So like, Steve is very much, we have our orders, follow them, we need a plan of attack sort of vibes, and then Tony is like, yeah, I have a plan, attack. And he's very much like, why aren't you questioning the orders when you only have half of the information? Like, what's the full picture? What are we missing? It's a good, if not tense, dynamic between them, but it definitely works for them, and it only grows more over the MCU timeline. And I like the way it grows from like the fact that they really do hate each other at the start to like, he's my friend, I was your friend too. Full circle. Full circle. That scepter, oh my gosh, it's just there to cause some beef. But I do really enjoy the argument that happens. I mean, what we're learning from this film is that I really enjoy not only physical fights and explosions, but arguments as well. Who knew? But yeah, I really enjoy the argument that they have on the Quinjet. Like, it's a proper argument and there are some full low blows thrown. Everything that's special about you, Cap, came out of a bottle, like, oh! Eek! Man in a suit of armour, take that away, what are you? Oh! God! But then what makes that scene so much better is the fact that they're like all ready to fully like murder each other, but then the Quinjet is under attack, so they all like suddenly in the moment are like, oh my gosh, Tony and Steve are like having a fight. And Steve's like, suit up, like, let's see who we can go a few rounds. And then it explodes and Steve's like, suit up. And Tony's like, yep, on it. It's such a vibe. It's like, I mean, it's not a vibe because they're in danger, but it is such a vibe. Coulson's death, okay, I have to say this because it makes me gasp every time I watch the film. I know it's gonna happen, and yet, I go, you know? Because, like, Coulson's been sweet the whole time he's been in the MCU, and it's just like, and then the way that, like, I understand, like, Fury needed to use something to get them to unite and, like, work together, but at the same time, like, he's, like, I understand the soft manipulation, but at the same time, I'm like, oof. But, I mean, it does work to get them to be a team, so fair play. When Tony gets to Stark Tower, it is, like, to confront Loki, it is such a brilliant scene. Like, I especially love when Tony is like, we have a Hulk, and then Loki tries to mind control Stark, and then he just, like, makes a joke about, like, performance issues. Iconic. I mean, like, pick your moments, and that was it. That was definitely the moment to pick. I also, I love the final battle. I mean, it's such an, like, the iconic, like, circle group shot and the music and the whole, oh my god, like, it just gets me right in the feels. It also has, this fight scene has the most iconic lines in it. And I do have to admit, I'm slightly embarrassed by the fact that I do know a lot of the lines off by heart. But, I mean, we move, we carry on. My favourite scene in the whole battle has to be when Hulk just decides to fully beat the crap out of Loki, when he's just like, smack, 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 smack. That one. It makes me laugh so hard. And then the way afterwards when Loki's in his little crater and he's just like, ah. Iconic. What a moment. Makes me laugh every time. The other part of the final battle that really gets me is the moment when it starts to look like it's all gonna go wrong for them, and like the music picks up and it goes like really dramatic and like sad sort of vibes, and then they like put in the slow-mo moment, and oh my soul, that gets me going. I mean, I'm such a sucker for a slow-mo moment, but just the like, oh, wow. It's just so well put together, and I'm really here for it. The other bit that gets me with this is when the battle's near the end and Fury's talking to the council. The line, I recognise the council has made a decision, but given the fact that it's a stupid ass decision, I've elected to ignore it. Wow. That moment, that line comes to my brain whenever I have to make a decision. Like, it lives there. It just lives up here. And I use it. I whip it out any moment. When Tony takes the missile into space, it's so stunningly terrifying. Like, you genuinely understand why he has like PTSD from that for the next forever. But as well, I really love the way that it does counteract from the argument earlier on in the film where Steve is like, you're not the man to lay down and sacrifice your life to save the others. Like, in my opinion, that's only the start of Tony proving that he is actually like not a dick that everyone thinks he is. I really like the way the film ends. Like, it's a really satisfying ending, especially to the like whole of phase 1 in the MCU. Like, you know there's going to be more to come, but you aren't left with like thousands of burning questions or like an emptiness. It's just like a really classic end to a film, and I just enjoy it. Like, I like that they set up that everyone's sort of going off and doing their own thing and like getting it back together, and that final shot of the Stark Tower, but it's no longer, it just has the A. I really like how that rounds off, that like, yeah, unity, like the Avengers are here now and the world knows it, as do the other universes out and about. The post-credit scenes of this film are just fantastic. Like, we get our first glimpse of Thanos, but we don't really know what's going on with him yet. But also, it's what gets me now, especially with the fact that Infinity War and Endgame are out, is how far his CGI has come. Like, wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. And then, of course, to end on a nice clean high, we have the team in the shawarma shop enjoying their post-battle meal. That's like when you're on a night out and you get a Mackey's at 4 AM because you're like, you know what? Let's get some nugs in me. So that's been my thoughts, feelings and vibes on 2012's The Avengers. Now on to the bit that everyone's here for, Party Central. The rating, yay! So I'm going to give The Avengers We Out Here Vibing, because it is an iconic film and it is a vibe. We do vibe with it. On top of that, I'm also going to give it Fight Me. I mean, how can I not? The fights in it are just phenomenal, and the slow-mo moment, perfection. I'm also going to give it It Owns My Soul. I mean, how can I not? Like, it's the OG Avengers film, and it is one of the best in my opinion. And do you know what? Marvel does just own me. I mean, like, they can have all my money, to be honest. But no, it's the OG Avengers film, so I think it has a special place, I think, in terms of all of the films. And then finally, it's getting just wow. And it's because with this film, it's only the start of something. Like, we've been introduced to the main players, but now they're opening up like a whole new world with this film. And it's just incredible, especially when you think about the fact that this film sets up other films literally meant for in like 5+ years time. Like, the entire complexity of the MCU blows my mind when I think about the fact that they've set up all of these stories. Like, the first one in 2008 is like, they knew in 2008, well, they probably didn't, but like, they started to have a plan of what was going to happen in the next 10 years of these films, and that's just mind-blowing to me. Like, that is, I'm boggled, fully boggled, mind blown, wallet empty. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you've been doing in the last like month. But yeah, I will see you soon in the next one. Bye. I'll wait for the train. I'm just gonna have to work through the banging. Oh. It's like this all day, every day. Can you actually read what it says? Can you read that?